What follows is a video that we produced for the Practical Defense Systems chemical agent class that deals mostly with pepper spray and mace and that kind of stuff. We wanted to include a pepper ball launcher video and an explanation of those in that class. But frankly, I thought I would post it here for your use since these Byrnas are becoming very popular. So here's the video. Hi, I'm Joel Persinger from Practical Defense Systems, and this little video is to talk about the options you have from the standpoint of use of force. I'm not going to include electronic control devices. We'll do that in a different video. This is actually a video that's going to be included in the pepper spray course or the chemical agent course for Practical Defense Systems, as well as being published publicly for your use on YouTube and Rumble and other places. I've got a bunch of force options down here that are pretty common. Obviously, one of the ones that's becoming more and more common throughout the United States, but also in California, is citizens carrying a firearm as a defensive tool. Now, security guards, police officers have been carrying these for a long time. And the one point I would make where guns are concerned is that a gun is a hammer. It's a serious hammer. And as the old saying goes, if all you have with you is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So I'm a proponent of people carrying a less lethal option as well. Just so you know, this is one of the guns that I carry concealed, but I always have these things with me as well. I have a little can of pepper spray, or OC, okay, oleo capsicum, or however you want to say it. And this happens to be from Sabre Red, and it's a combination of pepper spray and tear gas. And this is one that I carry around. This is a stream. I'm not going to spray it for you, but you want to spray it across the eyes. And I carry that with me. That's a less lethal option because I don't want to have to shoot somebody if there's no reason to shoot them. It's good to have the various tools you need as opposed to just a hammer all the time. The other thing I carry regularly with me is a flashlight, sometimes a smaller one, sometimes this one, depends on what I'm wearing. They're a great impact weapon if you needed them for that, but at the same time, you got to be able to see what you're doing. And so it's nice to have a light with you. And a handheld light is sometimes better than a weapon-mounted light, although that's awesome as well, because you can't exactly draw your gun to look for your car keys in the parking lot when you drop your keys, but you can pull out a light to do that. And you can't shine a light on somebody that looks a little threatening if it's on the end of your gun, unless you draw the gun, but you can do it with a handheld light. So it's a good reason to have a handheld light. And then I always carry a folding knife. Okay, so that's me. I'm a Filipino martial arts practitioner, but a lot of times, frankly, this is a tool. I use it for opening boxes or whatever, but it's also a defensive tool. But again, this is a deadly weapon as opposed to the OC or something else. Maybe it's a small version of a taser or phaser or something like that. Now, a lot of the course that you've already been through, if you're taking the pepper spray course, has talked about the use of pepper spray as opposed to pepper balls, although we touched on it briefly in the course. This is a pepper ball launcher, and this is what's called a Byrna. Now, it looks like a handgun, but it's not. That is one of the problems I have with it personally, is I don't particularly like the form factor because it looks like a gun and it's going to be mistaken as one, in my opinion, no matter what color it is. But that's a personal opinion. You got to decide for yourself what you want to do. I also think it's questionable as to whether carrying these is legal in states like California. Byrna says it is. I'm not going to guarantee you that. I don't honestly know. So don't take this course as in my opinion, as an excuse to carry one, because I honestly don't know if they're legal. I do know they're a good product. They work very well. I've already expressed my little concerns about them. I'm not so sure they're valid for everybody, but I do think that there are great uses for civilians in some respects. And this might be a really good tool for security guards sometimes, but not all the time. Again, not every tool is for everything. You don't use a gun every time you need pepper spray, just like you don't need a hammer every time you need a wrench. Use the different tools for different things. And even as less lethal is concerned, this is not applicable sometimes when a can of pepper spray would be, and vice versa. In any case, it does have quite a versatility of ammunition. In one of these magazines, I have the polymer impact balls. They don't explode or anything. It just hurt, sort of like a rubber ball, but they're made out of a hard polymer. We're going to shoot those in a second. And then here I have their max chemical balls. These are the ones that have pepper spray and CS mace in them. So what I'm going to do, just so you can see how it works, I've already got a canister in it. They run off of these cylinders, like a little CO2 cylinder. Now this is a diminutive one, and this is actually one that requires the larger cylinder. So I have a larger cylinder in it already. And one of the things I do like about this thing is it does not puncture the cylinder until you fire the first shot. So you can keep the cylinder in there forever. It's not punctured. And it's not all going to leak out, because when you press the trigger the first time, that's when it punctures the cylinder. So you can keep it loaded all the time if you want. Now, I've loaded just 3 rounds of the hard polymer ones. I'm going to set the pepper spray ones down. We'll take some shots at this target, and then the paper target, we'll see if they go all the way through. I'm going to guarantee you they do. It's a hard cardboard target, but they're going to go through. So a little eye protection here. Take it off safe, and here we go. Check for accuracy, if you will. So you can hear that it went all the way through, and it hit my back fence. Okay, I'll have to check and make sure I didn't poke a hole in my fence, but I don't think so. But you can hear them bouncing off my fence back there. So that's pretty darn powerful as an impact tool. Now, the danger there is, where do you aim? Because if you hit somebody in the eye, or anywhere that's a sensitive area, you can cause them a lot of harm. People can lose an eye, you can kill them. So this is a less lethal tool. It's not a lethal tool, but it could be lethal depending on how you use it. So this is important that you're very, very careful about the use of this tool. It can't be applied all the time everywhere. Now here's the ones that are the pepper ball versions. I'm going to shoot those at the steel target because I really don't want my neighbors to have to experience pepper balls. And then I can get the hose afterwards and clean it up. So hopefully it won't affect me, but let's see. So we're going to shoot it at the steel target so that you can see how that works and how they break. Here we go. So you can see that the accuracy is pretty good. It's actually excellent. If you look at this target, I've got 3 holes right here, very, very accurate for this little short distance. And here the pepper balls all landed within about a 2-inch circle. And obviously if you were hit by those, you would have to deal with the pepper, but you're also dealing with the kinetic energy of the round hitting you. It's going to sting like mad. So there you are. There's the Byrna. It's a pepper ball launcher. There are other brands and other kinds. These are not the only ones. But these are the ones that seem to be super popular at the moment, so I wanted to show it to you. They do make the LE version, which is longer like this, has a little bit more ammunition in it. They make one that's shorter, that's I think the SD version. There's an older one that's the HD version, I think, or maybe I've got those reversed. They run about, at the time of the recording of this, about 400 bucks. So they're not cheap, whereas a can of pepper spray is about $10. Okay, this is why sometimes the economics get in there too. Well, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions about this, you feel free to reach out to us and we'll answer the questions as best we can. Thank you very much for taking the class, and thank you very much for watching the video.